Here's a few news articles. In China, these guys wanted to work and drive trucks across the Great Wall, so they just broadened a hole in the Great Wall to make it wide enough to drive their trucks through, and now they're in a world of trouble because, of course, that's a cultural monument and you're not allowed to just knock down part of it, so that's rude. I was very interested in this. In South Korea, the parents complain about everything teachers do in the classroom to where they are terrified, and one of them committed suicide, and a bunch of them are quitting. They say to kids, you can't discipline the kids at all, and the kids will like attack each other with like scissors and pencils and stuff, and you can't stop them, or the parent of the kid you stop will call and scream you and wake you up in the morning and drive you nuts. So the teachers just say their position is impossible. They can't control the classroom, and the parents just complain so much that they're miserable. So I didn't know that, but that's the way it is. This is extremely common. I've mentioned before, there are now clear security standards for government agencies, and when you audit them, they typically fail. And in the US, for example, the US Army has had standards for years, and every test, they're more than 90% out of compliance. And now they did the same thing in the UK. The UK has a thing called Cyber Essentials, which is, some audit of basic security, and the Electoral Commission failed that test, and then they got hacked. And they said the way they got hacked was probably not related to that, although it certainly could be, because the problems are their stuff is not updated. Their software is not up to date, and their operating systems are not up to date, and that's pretty bad. That will make it pretty easy to hack in. So anyway, in case anybody thought otherwise, it's the same over here and the same over there. Most government systems do not meet the standards. We know what you should do, but they typically don't have the staff and funding to actually meet the standard. And here's another one. UK military data was leaked because they were using a Windows 7 machine. Windows 7 is completely abandoned by Microsoft. Even the extended service ran out, so you can't update it. And so somebody got in and into this military supplier and leaked out classified data from there. And they said they were hit with ransomware, and they managed to respond in time to stop their files from being encrypted, but they were stolen and published on the dark web. So, usual stuff. You got to update your stuff, and you have to have a firewall and have various other basic security features, and a lot of people don't. So this I'm waiting for. The SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, they use radio and telescopes, and they look for rockets or radios somewhere. And now they said the John Webb Space Telescope would be able to tell just from the composition of our atmosphere that we were a technological civilization up to 50 light years away. So at least now, this is another way, if anybody around us was using technology, we would know that, because it puts things in the air. Life puts things in the air like methane, and technology puts other things in the air like smoke, and you can detect it now. And they've taken spectrograms of Earth and added like enough noise and made them as if you were looking 50 light years away, and shown that we'd be able to see that. So that's interesting as far as the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is going. Mudge is a famous hacker. Peter Mudge, he was one of the original Cult of the Dead Cow that found a bunch of flaws in Windows 20 or 30 years ago, and he's testified before Congress before about border gateway protocol failures. And he was then put in charge of security at Twitter, and then he famously became a whistleblower, exposing that Twitter was doing outrageous and illegal things. Even before, I think, Musk took over, I'm not quite sure, but about a year ago, they're in violation of the Federal Trade Commission's order that they had to improve their security, which they're blatantly not doing. And so he became a whistleblower, and now he's been joining the Biden administration. So he's a very famous guy, very greatly respected in the hacker community. And so we'll see. He's joining CISA, which is the logical place for him, the government agency that helps tell people how to secure their stuff and issues warnings about security risks and recommendations. So he'll probably add a lot of benefit there. I didn't know this. Microsoft got a bunch of news because they're going to make some of their certification exams open book, where you can use the official Microsoft, like knowledge base or something, which makes a lot of sense because on the job, that's what you do. You can't just use anything in Google, but you can use certain Microsoft resources. And when I published this, people said, SANS tests have always been this way. Now, SANS courses cost so much. I've never taken SANS exams. I don't have SANS certifications. But apparently, this has been known for a while. They're GIAC exams, and they're all open book. They'll let you use, I think, the printed book that comes with the course. You don't get to use the internet, but you get to use the book. So that's, again, I think more realistic. So a lot of people are talking about this, tests for modern jobs should probably be open book. This idea where you have to memorize everything is kind of out of date now that everybody has cell phones and computers and the internet.
Some of them that you, even for technical interviews, some of the companies.
Even for interviews? Yeah.
Yeah.
Logically they should. In fact, I've heard people that say what they really like to do is give you like a 1-month internship where you work with somebody and they see what you do would probably be a lot more effective than the usual interview stuff. Yeah, so I think we're going through quite a period of change in the way people get jobs. By the way, did anybody go to the job fair?